Now, joining us to discuss the economy is Nderi, who is a financial analyst and at ABC Capital. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
It's a pleasure.
Now, we begin with the CBR rate that has constantly stayed at 9%.
9%.
Impact to the economy?
We don't expect to see much changes naturally, because there was no change at all, and that's the reason for that was obviously the issues that the governor stated, and the governor stated that the points were inflation, stable exchange rates, increased credit to the private sector. So all that, I mean, I think they chose steady as it goes, you know, as a underlying theme for their CBR rate issue.
All right, 13%, but still we have the private sector not being able to access credit. Going forward, do you think we'll relax the rules and private sector will be able to access credit?
Well, the government did put a proposal to Parliament, and this is really in Parliament's jurisdiction, so to speak. So we can only hope the MPs will see it the way we see it. Okay,
and we've seen economic crunch, even with the numbers that I've been able to look at coming from the CBK website. And we're saying the performance of the economy overall is not doing as well. As much as the government is saying we're within range of 2.5 to 7.5%, still we are seeing companies retrenching. Going forward, do you think to reach a point where we are going to stabilize as an economy and be able to work conducively?
I think it's natural to see, companies. What we don't see is companies actually coming into business. Well, the economic environment is not ideal. That much you can't run away from. However, what we are seeing is with some companies retrenching and whatnot, that's companies are readjusting themselves. So you'll find that they might retrench in one area but hire for another area, because what they need is a different skill in the new direction they're taking. So generally speaking, I mean, choppies go out, but we've seen Nderi Capital put money in both Tumaini and I forget the other supermarket.
There's Tumaini and Chop. Yes, they put in money in Tumaini supermarket.
Right. So you can see it's a dynamic environment, and the economy is dynamic, so to speak.
It's Tumaini and Quickmart, yes.
And Quickmart, yes.
Yes. So they put in money in those particular sectors, in those particular retail sector. But again, speaking of Tumaini and Quickmart, do you think going forward they'll be able to even compete with these international brands that are there?
I think they will. I think they will. The idea is, do they have the necessary skills that they require? Because obviously they have the money, and just need to be able to develop a strong relationship with existing suppliers. So with the new suppliers coming in, yes, we lost a bit on Choppies, but ShopRite is here now.
But there's Ibrahim also. We lost that as well.
Right, but I'm not sure how many stores Ibrahim have. Quickmart and Tumaini are actually pretty big. I think combined there must be more than 20 stores. And that's for suppliers to those two, I think they now have a much bigger market. So it's a dynamic market. That's why we rely on Kenya National Bureau of Statistics for the stats.
All right, and now let's cross over to the BOUS. The BOUS, we're saying foreign investors leaving the BOUS, and also local investors are leaving the BOUS. Are we going to see more of that?
We hope not, and obviously for those who are happy to take the risk, incidentally, the stock market is one place where fewer people buy when prices come down. It's a quirk in psychology. We don't understand that, but I mean, the prices, if you look at them, they're brilliant. If you look at dividend yields, I think Barclays is doing better than the Treasury bill. It's not often you see that. You'll see other companies with very, very high dividend yields, very high earning yields, or very low price to earnings ratios. Those are fantastic valuations. If you wanted to, if you had the motto of buy low and sell high, this is low.
So is this the time for someone to invest at the bourse?
Exactly, absolutely.
Despite the fact that we are seeing foreign investors leaving?
You want to be buying when they're selling, so that when they're buying, you're selling to them at a much higher profit, because naturally they're tolerant to much higher valuations. That's why when the foreigners leave, valuations fall, because Kenyans prefer much lower valuations. So if you're going to buy now, obviously they'll come back naturally. If you look at Western Europe, I mean, if you look at Europe, if you look at North America, interest rates are going to negative. So how much can they really invest in the economy? So at one point or the other, they'll bring it back here.
All right, thank you very much, Johnson Nderi. He's been able